He's sniffing glue. Huckabee hands Intel chief his ass for what he said about Trump and Russia. Former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee may have run against Donald Trump during the 2016 Republican primaries, but he has become one of his strongest and most valuable allies in fighting against the smears the Washington, D.C. political establishment and the media have been assaulting him with. Huckabee recently got President Trump's back when the Director of National Intelligence, James Clapper, attacked Trump with a vile and completely baseless remark. Said Clapper about the manufactured scandal, President Trump has been surrounded with, I think if you compared the two, that Watergate pales. Really, in my view, compared to what we're confronting now. That remark set off Huckabee, who shot back. I wonder if Clapper is sniffing glue. Continued Mike, how in the world could you say that Watergate pales in comparison? Watergate involved the President of the United States, the top aides inside the White House, the Chief of Staff, Policy Director, a whole staff of people, and also the Attorney General of the United States, plus all the campaign people. It was a huge issue and involved official government employees. He added, what we're talking about here is allegations, unproven. So far, a lot of smoke, they say, but no smoking gun. No credible evidence at all that the campaign had not coordination but communication with an ambassador. This is absurd. I don't know even where he would come up with this. Do you agree with Huckabee? Let's watch below. Absolutely. A lot of smoke, they're saying.
Joining me now, former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee, a Fox News contributor. Good to see you this morning, Governor.
Good morning. Good to be with you, Shannon.
As we're going to hear from the current Director of National Intelligence, I want to play something we heard not long ago from the former DNI and get your reaction. This is former DNI James Clapper.
Yeah, I have to say, though, that I think, compare the two, that Watergate pales, really, in my view, as compared to what we're confronting now.
Talking there about Russia and its interference in our election, the now investigation, do you think Watergate is a fair parallel comparison?
I mean, I wonder if Clapper is sniffing glue. How in the world could he say that Watergate pales in comparison? Watergate involved the President of the United States, the top aides inside the White House, the Chief of Staff, Policy Director, a whole staff of people, and also the Attorney General of the United States, plus all the campaign people. I mean, it was a huge issue and involved official government employees. What we're talking about here is allegations, unproven. So far, a lot of smoke, they say, but no smoking gun. No credible evidence at all that the campaign had not coordination, but communication with an ambassador. I mean, this is absurd. I don't know even where he would come up with this, but I'll tell you where Clapper is going to have some challenges, as will Comey. If you've seen the revelation, the lawsuit that was filed this week, reported in Circa, there is now an explosive allegation. Dennis Montgomery, a former U.S. intelligence contractor, stole over 600 million documents of intelligence from the CIA and NSA, gave them back, but said it proved that in the Obama administration there was widespread surveillance and illegal spying on American citizens. Now that is a story that Congress ought to be pursuing.
Yeah, and there's a lot more we don't know about the story, but it sounds like, at least the first characterization I read of it, that he tried to go to somebody with the documents in a sort of a whistleblower capacity. I know we'll find out more about that. But also, today we're going to hear from these 4 intel agency heads. Tomorrow we hear from Comey. Do you think the dust settles, the smoke clears? Do we get any solid answers on these accusations flying back and forth?
Well, I really think the burden is going to be on the people who are testifying, Comey, Rosenstein, and others, because if there was anything that was untoward, they should have had some reporting of it earlier. The fact that they didn't indicates that they didn't find anything that was a true obstruction of justice. There was nothing there. If the president casually said, boy, I hope this thing with Flynn goes away, of course he might have said that. That's not criminal, nor is that an obstruction of justice. It doesn't cross that line until he issues an order, an ultimatum, or a quid pro quo, a this for that, none of which happened, none of which has even been alleged at this point. So if in fact they make that allegation, which I don't think anybody suspects they will, and early indications are that they most certainly will not, then this ought to be over. But let's see if the Democrats are able to pull the covers up on this one and put it to bed once and for all. My guess is they can't do it.
Okay, Governor, I want to ask you very quickly, we're almost out of time, about something that to me has been flying under the radar, the fact that the Senate Judiciary Chair, Chuck Grassley, has initiated an investigation into whether former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton tried to influence or shut down a corruption investigation into a foreign donor to the Clinton Foundation. I mean, he sent a letter to the State Department. I've heard nothing about this.
No, you haven't, because the mainstream media is not interested in alleged illegal activity. Now, this would be serious. If a person holding the office of Secretary of State used her position to shake down foreign governments in order to get favors for a donor, this would be a pretty big story. This should have been splashed on the front page. And imagine if Rex Tillerson, the Secretary of State, were engaged in something like this in the Trump administration. Do you think it would be ignored by the media?
No.
Doubtful.
Well, it's just in the very beginning stages, so we'll see what facts come from this inquiry by Senator Grassley. Governor, good to see you always. Thank you.